Here's a regular size CD. Here's a mini CD. You can see it's about half the size. The MicroChip Linux operating system can fit very easily on a mini disk like this, and you still have plenty of room. Right now the distribution is about 61 megabytes. These CDs hold about 220 megabytes. So plenty of extra room for adding stuff in the future, but our goal is to keep it small. MicroChip Linux is based on DSL Linux, which stands for Damn Small Linux, which is a slightly smaller. We had to make it a little bit larger to add the stuff we wanted to do. And although MicroChip Linux is very easy to use, it's more for advanced users, but anybody can use it. Feel free to play with it. Since you can run it right off the CD without having to install it, you don't have to worry about messing up your computer or having to commit to it. So first off, when you boot your computer, have the CD in the CD-ROM drive. Make sure your BIOS is set to boot to CD-ROM before it boots to the hard drive, or else it won't even look at the CD-ROM. So you can do that in setup, or in some cases your motherboard will allow you to hit a certain key like escape and bring up a boot device menu. So I'm going to pick my CD-ROM drive. We'll get our first logo screen here, and here we can type commands. If you hit F2, you'll see a whole list of commands that you can type to do different things. If you just hit enter, it will boot. I'm going to type DSL to RAM. What this is going to do is copy the whole CD to your RAM, so you can take the CD-ROM out. It will run faster, and you can still use your CD-ROM drive if you do this. It takes a little bit longer to boot, I'd say about 30 seconds. You'll see it copying to the RAM here in a second. As I was saying, DSL Linux is not as easy to use as the Punisher OS, and it's not as graphic and doesn't have the 3D desktop, but will run on very old machines. I've tested in as small as 64 megabytes with 300 megahertz processor, and it runs great. One big drawback is because to keep the size down, it's using an older Linux kernel, which does not allow Flash 9 to be installed. So the newest version of Flash we have installed is Flash 7. So some Flash websites may not be displayed properly if they're using the newest version of Flash. As you can see, you probably can't read it, but right there it copied the whole thing to the RAM already. So I can take the CD-ROM out of the CD-ROM drive if I needed to right now. Right now it's just doing a whole bunch of hardware checks. Linux doesn't need to have any drivers installed for the most part. At this point it should detect your video card, your audio card, your network card, so there's no setup usually required on your behalf. Here we have the desktop loading with a little welcome screen, and the skull as our backdrop. And just like normal, we have a little start menu here. Go up to the top option here. This is the MicroChip folder. The first option is Get Comic. There's a little warning there. This is downloading comic files from a third party. They have nothing to do with the operating system here, but we link to them online and download their archive file of Punisher comics, and it's going to download and display them. The number of comics that are available vary and can change your download time, but we have about 10 seconds left. When it's done, it will load and we can look at a bunch of our Punisher War Journal comics. Once again, don't download any comics you don't own, but if you want to read the comics you own anywhere you are, you can pop in this disc and download them, and you can zoom in case you want to read the words up close. You can zoom in even more. So that's the Get Comic feature. Once again, not directly related with the operating system, but links to a third-party website. Right here is a Get Flash player. Right now I have Flash Player installed, Flash 7 as I said, although that may be removed later on in the future to cut down on the size of the operating system if needed. In that case, this button here will download and install Flash 7 for you. Scan Network, click that and it will take a a few seconds, anywhere from probably 10 seconds to a minute, but will scan all local IP ranges, as you can see right here, and tell you of any open ports and what computers they're on. That way, if you're looking for a local website or an FTP server or a secure server, this will just give you a list of all the ones that are in your local IP range. Very nice for just having a quick view of your local network. Now, if we click this FBI hack, what it's going to do is it's going to download information from FBI.org or .gov and bring up their most wanted photos and information. So you can see a photo of this, just as MicroChip would do for the Punisher. And we can scroll through here and read all his information. When we're done with that, we can click this and it goes to the next person. We get his picture and all his information. We can scroll through. And this just goes through the top few most wanted. I'm going to close that out, close out our network scan, go back up to the MicroChip folder, and the last thing in here is MicroChip Linux update. And this is, in the future, any changes we make, you don't have to necessarily download the whole new version of MicroChip Linux. You just click this, and it will download and install any updates. Right now, there are no updates. So, next folder down is the Frank folder. Right now, this is where your war journal entries are going to be. Right now, there's one. You can read in this window here what Frank has written about, and then sometimes there'll be extra windows that pop open in the background there that show more of what he's talking about. Applications, you have text editors, graphic editors, here's all your Office stuff. A lot of these are very simple, small Office. You can view your Word documents, Excel, spreadsheets, PDF files, you got a calculator and calendar. If you want a fuller Office software, we'll show you how to install that in a minute. Here's your sound mixer if you want to control your volume levels with that. And once again, right now, this is not installed on the computer. This is all running off of the RAM, which we copied from the CD. So this is basically all your programs in here, web browsers and everything. And tools, here is where if you want to install MicroChip Linux, you can install it to a hard drive or a thumbnail drive or an external USB drive. Also, if you make changes, you can use the MicroChip Remaster CD and make your own version of the CD. And here is my DSL, soon to be renamed my MicroChip. And this is where you can download new programs. Basically, you would click on, let's say, Applications, and you scroll through here till you find the application you want. We'll pick OpenOffice, which is a full Office suite. It tells you it's 66 megabytes here. And in some cases, it will tell you if there's any other downloads you need to download for this to work. But we would click download, and it would download and install OpenOffice, which will give you a full Office suite, which you can do pretty much everything you can do with Microsoft Office for free. We got games, and we got setup here where you can go to different setups, your screen resolution, stuff like that. System, we got control panel. With easy click, you can turn on secure shell, a web server, FTP server, and now we have all three of those servers up and running, ready to go, and nothing more to do. Backup. Since you're running off a CD, when you reboot the computer, you're going to lose any changes you made. But if we do backup, we can back up all the information to a zip file and save it to your hard drive or external USB flash drive, and next time you boot, you can reload your settings. You also have your network card set up, although if you're using a hardwire in, it should automatically detect it. If you're using a wireless card, you're going to want to use one of these two wireless configs.